So I called her and I said, I need someone now. Otherwise, I'm going to hire one, like an assistant, to take over this because I can't deal with this anymore. I'm going to give you these 4 bookings. You can close.
Welcome to the Monique on the Mic podcast. I'm Monique B. Thomas, your host, and this is episode 18. This is a very special episode because our guest today is a very dear friend of mine, and I wanted to talk about her journey on how she booked herself all over the place, because I think that's something we struggle with. So I'm just going to get right into it. Here we go. So I'd like to give a nice warm welcome to Nana Rashid. Welcome, Nana. Welcome to the show. How you doing today?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm good. You know, I'm as good as tech issues will allow me to be. It just seems like tech issues just want to be a part of the show. So I don't know, but we'll make it work. Listen, I always like to tell people why I invite them to the show.
Mm-hmm.
And because I want people to understand that every guest is a particular part of the puzzle piece that is this show. You know, this show is about helping and empowering artists through resources and telling different stories so that people don't feel so alone. Because, you know, the artistic journey can feel rather lonely at times.
Sure.
And I think by telling stories, we get to know that, you know, there's solutions to our problems and others out there have been through what we've been through.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think your story is particularly interesting because you are both a performer and a voice teacher. And you've done something that a lot of people struggle with, which is you've made an album of original pieces and you are now touring heavily with it. And I wanted you to talk about that. So
Yeah.
I know that's a big thing, but let's just jump into it.
Yeah. So I think there are so many steps on a journey like that. And, you know, we met when I just started studying voice the way that we study voice, you know, and I think that there's so many different pieces of being able to do that. So many things you gotta learn. There are so many steps to take. So I'm in doubt where to start, actually, to be frank with you, because if we should start before the album or with the album. Does that make sense? Because there's a lot that goes before making the album, you know? That journey before that, and then there's a journey with this specific project. This is 2 different journeys, I feel.
Okay. You know what? Let's look at, first of all, allowing yourself to create an album of all original works. Let's start there.
Okay. So, I had a project before, a duo project where it went really well with that duo project. And then, the collaboration we weren't happy together as collaborators, so to speak. And I completely, felt like I wasn't supposed to do this. And I just felt like I don't want to go down this way. I just want to teach. And this was not a just want to teach. I want to teach instead. That makes me more happy than it does being a performing artist. So I did that.
Okay.
And then, one of my friends called Johan, who actually is working with artists on these things. He kept on pushing me and he's like, but Nana, the thing that you set out to do was this, and then you get one setback and then you're out of here. You can't, you know, why would you not pursue it? And then he invited me into his studio and we messed around. He showed me what he could do, and I then went away from that, you know, I went home and I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting, but still not leaping, you know. And he invited me again. I was like, come on, you need to do something. You need to do something. This is what you set out to do. And and I had been writing at home just for fun when I was, you know, practicing. Just little pieces, not anything, you know, not a full song, just little snippets of stuff, if you can say so. And then he's like, you need to put stuff together and you need to make something, finish something, and not to not for the purpose of making an album, just for the purpose of fulfilling yourself.
I
And I
really
think
like that.
that did it for, that's why I wanted to tell this really long story, because I think that was an eye opener to me. So I of course do this, for other people to enjoy it. Of course, when you release music, you do it for other people to enjoy it. But in the making process, I'm not making it for other people.
You're
I'm
making
it for
yourself.
me to release myself. Yeah, for me to release and process something within myself. Not, if that makes it easier.
I really, really like that. So if I may, you're saying that the process of creating your own music and finishing it, is it kind of healing for you?
Yeah. In different ways. In different ways. It's like, I feel like, because there is the thing about daring that I don't know about you, but for me, there is a daring to do this, there's that whole part. And then there's allowing you, as you said, to be intimate with yourself. Because, if you want, or for me, if I should make another album, if I was to make another album, I want it to be something that I really want to say, because as you said, I am touring now and I have to sing those songs a lot of times this year. So I want to make sure that it's something that I want to say a lot of times as well. So it needs to be topics that I really feel like I want to keep talking about. And for me,
it's got to be meaty.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got to be consistent.
Yes.
Like a good meal.
Exactly. Yeah. And tasty, it needs to be something that I can enjoy doing a lot of times, because that's what's going to happen if you tour. And,
right.
I feel like, I feel like that, but also I think that's my approach to things in general, that I like to make things feel right, so I can feel, oh, this is, this song, the chords, the mode, like, I'm not talking about modal stuff, but I'm talking about the mood of it, you could say, the feelings and the lyric, everything sort of support each other and comes together in a way where I'm like, this is everything is supporting that certain message that I want to get across. And I think that has been sort of how I've been writing. That takes a long time to write stuff like that, I feel. For me. I'm not saying that it would for everyone, but for me, that takes a long time. So I had to come to terms with the fact that my writing process is a slow writing process. And it's not because it's stale, so to speak. It's just, I have to marinate in it for the words and everything for a long time. And before it feels completely right, I might do it live, but I don't want to record it before I feel like now I'm getting excited about it on every level. If that makes sense.
I love that you said marinate. Oh, it makes a lot of sense. And I love that you use the word marinate, because I find that a lot of my great artist friends, we always talk about food. I mean, we use food analogies. So our wonderful friend that we have in common, Greg Enriquez, who I always shout out on this show, we're always talking about food.
Yeah.
Now, I want to go back. Did you say your friend's name was Johan that pushed you?
Yeah.
Would you say that he's become your mentor?
No, not anymore. I'd say he was a friend that helped me. And he was in that specific part of the process, he was very good on that. And then he actually produced the album. He was in the studio with us also. And he was also the one that mixed the album.
Oh, wow.
So he became more of a producer than he became a mentor. We worked together on the music instead of him being some kind of, teacher kind of person.
Right.
Yeah. So it was more a collaboration, I feel.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, but I love that he cared enough to
Yeah.
sort of give you the kick in the butt that you needed
Yeah.
to actually finish some of your
Yeah.
snippets and actually turn it into an album, even though what he said in the beginning is that you're not finishing it to make an album, you're finishing it almost to like satisfy yourself.
Yeah.
I love that he said it that way because that means there's no pressure
Yeah.
or low
Exactly.
pressure.
Exactly.
Which is, as I don't know about other instrumentalists, but we singers put so much pressure on ourselves, so much
Yes.
that often, I mean, we might even lose our voices before recording an
Yeah.
important concert or something because the pressure is just so great. I used to get sick, I would have a sore throat before all of my recordings, many, 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 many years, like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I know how that pressure is. So it was great that he was able to speak to you in a way that your artist self could actually get in there and get the work done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's
And that's
talk
hard.
about it is hard.
Mm.
It's something that if you're not an artist that actually creates things and finishes things, you can't know what that is. And it's kind of a lonely place, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because nobody can do it for
It
you.
is. Sure. And then on the other hand, you can collaborate with people on it, right? Like you can around your technique or your musicality and stuff. You can collaborate, but yes, you have to. If you want it to be a personal project, a project that relates to your inner life, then it needs to come from you, for sure. But nobody else can do it if it needs to come from you. That's a given, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what's so hard is because like even people can support you, but they're only supporting you from the outside.
Yeah.
You're actually the one that has to sit down and write the lyrics or write the melodies and just work it all out from A to Z.
Yes. Yeah.
So now you have this project in your hand and you're dealing with what all artists deal with is how do I actually get this out to the masses? Is there any way for me to actually make money from this?
Yeah.
How did you do that? Because from what I understand, you are touring heavily.
Yeah, right now the fall is going to be busy. Now it's not as busy as the fall. The fall is going to be busy. The summer is going to be busy. What did I do? So one of the things I think I was lucky in this specific thing, I was lucky. The first album, I made an EP, back in, I think it was, 2016. And when I had to do the promo photos and everything for that, I was working at a tea store then. And I met this wonderful person called Thomas, and he was also starting his career as a photographer. And I paid him to do all of my promos and go with us in the studio and take photos of us and doing all those kind of stuff. And then he after that, as I told you about before, with the break and everything, where I didn't do so much music, he kept on contacting me. It's like, because he had won with the photos that he did from the studio, he had won a prize with his photography on one of those
Contest?
photos. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So he had gotten his photo into a coffee table book around Danish music, which was really, yeah. So he was really interested in joining me in the studio again when I would go in again, and then just doing behind the scenes on the project and that. So he kept on messaging me for these 7 years or 6 years or whatever long. Yeah.
Wow.
He's like, when are you going in the studio? Remember that I'm here. I want to go with you, and all that. I'm like, yeah, I will do that. And then he wrote me, and I'm like, okay, it's not that far away now. That was during Corona or COVID. And then I contacted him. It's like, okay, it's now. It's in 3 months. Are you up for it? And he's like, yeah, I'll take a day off work. And then because he was having a job that he did every day, so he took time off and came and photographed us. And then I had a meeting with him afterwards and was like, I really want you to do the cover photo the project, for the album, and he's like, you know what, I can see that I was struggling with money, to be frank with you, after COVID, what was 2022, because of the teaching had gone, not as many students, and and we hadn't been gigging for 2 years at that point, so, you spent your savings, right? So he's like, I can see that you're struggling. I want to donate this. Don't even worry about it. I was like, are you sure?
Wow.
And then he did that. And then he just actually kept on doing that for a long, long while. So all the beautiful content that you see, I'm paying him now. But he's still doing stuff around the project that I wouldn't be able to pay for. So it's important for me to say that, because I can see that some of my colleagues are contacting me, see, how are you doing that? And I'm like, I'm sorry, dude, that I am not doing it. This is Thomas, who is a very professional photographer and graphic designer and whatever, who is able to do these things. And he has dedicated himself to the project. So I think that's a big part of my marketing, is him. So
he's a photographer and a graphic designer. Wow.
He's a brand manager, yeah. Who's also a photographer, yeah.
Oh, okay, wow.
So he
does a lot. So
he also decides that the next, we've had the release tour that's called Music for Betty. And then he also decides that the next tour is going to be Tour for Betty. He's also the one that comes up with some of the concepts. He decides or of course in collaboration with me, what I'm wearing at my concerts. He also designs he helps design the lighting. He's art directing the music videos. He's the cut. Yeah, that's what I want to tell this, because what I did is not what I did. We did. So for example, also the little cartoon we made for the first song, that the mother-father little cartoon,
which I loved. Yeah.
I loved that. So as well. So he's like, these and these colors don't fit with the rest of the project. We need to get these colors changed to these. He's done all of that nitty-bitty work and all of the bigger work on everything that's presenting the project.
I got to stop you here, because two things. I want to make sure that we get Thomas's full name so that he can get some full credit. And I'll definitely put all of his information in the show notes, because people need to see his work.
Yeah.
His work is stunning. I mean,
I know.
We've got to say you absolutely are photogenic. I mean, you're absolutely a stunning woman, and he captures you so well. But the fact that he has a hand on the entire vision is amazing. And I want to stop and talk about this for a second, because often artists, they try to do everything themselves because of, obviously, I think first because of money issues.
Sure.
Which is understandable.
Yeah.
But I think the other thing is, oftentimes either an artist lacks vision, and so they're just kind of flapping around in the wind, or they want to kind of control everything.
Yeah.
But the truth is, if you're a singing artist, you often don't have a full vision of what the visual should be. That is actually somebody's job. And the fact that Thomas has taken, I mean, it's kind of rare to have the person who's taking the photos actually tell you where you're going to put them and how they coordinate with the whole project. I mean, his title is way more than just a photographer and a graphics designer. I mean, he's a visual project manager.
I feel like he's an artist making art within my project.
But he does have to manage the fact that, like he said, he's making sure that your outfits even coordinate when you're on stage. I mean, he's your almost like your glam squad.
Yeah,
which is rather amazing that's your photographer doing all of that. He's definitely a gem.
Yeah.
But I want our listeners to make sure that they go and check out your Instagram and all your socials so that they can see the superior quality of all of your visuals. I mean, every single thing that you put out looks absolutely amazing. It looks like you have a team of 20 people.
No,
so
we don't.
I definitely wanted to take the time to say that. So his name, but it looks like it. So bravo to Thomas for taking on this project and doing what he does. What is his last name?
Dana. Thomas Dana.
Okay.
I'll write it out.
All right.
For
We'll
you.
definitely put all of, we'll put all of his information in the show notes so people can get in touch with him.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get back to, how did you get it so that people wanted to book you? I know that may seem like a dumb question. It's like, well, duh, I sent out 2 million emails and, 20 people answered. But can we walk through that process?
It's probably pretty much as you described it. That's true. That's how I did it. But I learned, the drummer in my project taught me a really, really, really good tip, which I found was as a very good, because when you are approaching clubs or festivals or whatever, you don't want to write them and say, hello, my name is Nana, book me. Or, you want to make sure that you are, you want them to, first of all, you want of course, a hook, and you don't want that to be, too much, but like it could be, or I've checked out, and even if you see it, it can also be, it can be genuine. You see something, a festival, you think is really, really cool, and you can really see yourself there. And you're right. Oh my God, I've just checked this out. This Right, which is one of my favorites, right? She's playing there, and I can really see myself here. I did this and this, and you can hear the music here, whatever. And then they don't answer, of course. And then you write them next time you're releasing a single. Do you know what? I don't want you to miss my new single. I have this cool single, and we are doing a live video. I'll send you the live video later in the fall when I have that. You don't push them for answers. That's how I did. And then I just do, I remember I wrote 12 of these emails, not asking them, and then they booked me. After so many emails. I know
12. So 12 to the same person.
Yeah, but not, and also like personal emails, like, oh, I can see that it takes a lot of time to write those kind of emails. Just so I've spent, I think also that I can see, and this is not to rat out any of my colleagues, but I can see that the way that I've been working the last 2 years is insane. And I haven't seen anyone around me working like that. And the reason why I work like that is because I knew that if I didn't make any gigs for this year, I didn't frankly have any money. So and I'm glad that I didn't have to work like that, because that's not fun. So I also had to sit from, after I finished teaching, I would sit and watch Downton Abbey all over and all over again, and just write those emails as I just told you how I would do it. And then go to bed at around midnight, and then get up again and start again. And then after having done that, teach, and that's not fun. That's not fun.
No, it doesn't sound like fun.
No, it's not fun. But that's what, so it's, and I wrote also to magazines and all of those kind of stuff, and TV production, to get into all of those places. So it's been, an insane amount of work. And then the other thing in terms of that is that Thomas has a really good network in terms of fashion and stuff like that. And so I've been he's also made sure that we've been working together with other brands. So we have been wearing some of their stuff and then providing photos for them, so that where I'm wearing it. So I've been on different people's platforms in that way when we've been doing any important concerts, which is also, and we've been able to borrow clothes, for example, for important stuff, because it's, just the outfits are very expensive. So if you can borrow, and also I feel like it's also very, it's very good if you're only going to wear a dress once. Why buy, somebody else might as well wear it. So I feel like that's also a good thing. So those are some of the things that we've been doing, or some of the main things we've been doing. Then I've just also spent all of the money that I earned. I didn't take them out of the company. I think that's a huge one as well. So every time there was something, I would say to Thomas, okay, I have money now for making a music video. And then he would be like, I don't need, I also want to invest. So let's hire someone, give him money, and then I'll direct it. So we've spent a huge amount of time, and all the money that I had, I put back in for us to make more great things, you know? So that's
Wow.
how.
Okay. So
that's how. So that's also a lot of sacrificing. Yeah. So to speak.
Yeah, but it sounds like you're extremely organized, which typically, I wouldn't say that singers are known for being very, very organized. I mean, I know I haven't been. I'm learning to be at my ripe old age now, but in the past I haven't been. So I want to just go back because you said so many things that are worth, diving into. Do you have any clue how many different people you wrote to book you for your project?
Yeah, in terms of Europe, in terms of festivals in particular, I had a list of 120 festivals that I wrote. And I wrote them, I think I wrote them, all of them, 7 emails each. I know that because
So that's
for that.
so
And then
that's
there's the
like
Danish
800 emails.
for Europe. And then there's Denmark.
Okay.
Besides that. And then there's the press.
Okay. So
Yeah. So that's a lot of
wow.
emailing.
Okay. So
yeah.
So do you have a system to organize yourself there? Because,
Yeah.
like, do you have some sort of file that helps you know, I wrote on this person on this date and they got back to me or they didn't get back to me, or how do you do that?
So what I did is I don't even remember it now because somebody's taken over this work now. So I want to go into my file and look actually how I did it, because I think this is very valuable for people when we're talking about helping other people doing this. I think this is worth. So I had one called, European festivals. So I would have one that's called, I will call, for example, then one called Scandinavia, which would contain, that would be Norway, Finland, Sweden. So I had them, one section of Scandinavia, and then each of them pinned out, Norway, and then Finland, and Sweden. And then I would go through all of the festivals. There's a database in this place called Just Denmark. And they had a database all over all of the clubs and festivals. So I would go in and actually my mom helped with this. We would go in, like each of us, like taking one country, and then we would go through the database, and then we would go and listen to the music that they had booked to see if they were compatible what I did. And so we had, like, for example, one festival we would put, and then the next section would be like in an Excel arc, right? We would do a sheet in Google Sheet or whatever, call it. So you
Google
write
Docs or something.
Yeah, exactly. And then it would be the name of the festival, then the next section, the country, which month the festival was in, who's the contact person, and then the next the email and then the phone number, and then the homepage, and then I had somewhat called status, and then I had email one. I would write which date, and then I would write introduction, and then the next one would be single or this and this review or whatever. I'd write what I had written to them, because then I could easily go into the sheet and look. Okay, they have not gotten that I was nominated for this. So I need to send them that. They can still have that email. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, you are blowing my mind right now.
You didn't know
my mind.
You didn't
because...
know that I did all this.
Well, no, my career has been a little weird because I've always had somebody doing kind of things for me. So I rarely had to sort of try to sell a project. My phone just kind of rings, but
that's nice.
That's not always a good thing, because that means, well, yes, there's great things about it because I don't have to deal with the crap with, writing all those mails and not getting any answers and dealing with that rejection in that sense. However, on the other hand, my phone rings, but they're not my project. They're always somebody else's project.
Oh, yeah.
So, and that means that, you know what I mean? So it means that either I work and it's somebody else's project, or I don't work.
Sure.
And because I never had to do what you had to do, I actually don't really know how to do it. I mean,
I
I
understand.
know theoretically, but sitting down and actually doing it, I don't know if I would
Yeah, I
or could
understand.
at this point.
I
But
understand.
what I want to say about this is, there's so many things to say. First of all, when we see somebody in the business doing well, you know, and this goes back to one of my episodes that I talk about jealousy.
Yeah.
We see somebody doing really well, and we're looking at them, and they're riding this wave,
Yeah.
and jealousy can come up because like, oh, why are they doing as well as they're doing? And then it's like, well, because I wrote more than 2,000 emails.
Yeah.
Because she did the work. You actually really did the grueling work of writing all these people. And here's the other thing.
Yeah.
I'm always talking about the fact that artists have to come to terms with the fact that they are business owners
Yes.
and therefore are entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And when you sell a product, if you know anything about selling a product, nobody ever buys anything on the first pitch.
Exactly.
They buy something when they've heard the pitch many times. So your first pitch, you're introducing yourself, and how should I say, you warm up that lead over time. So when you say you've written to the same people 7 times, they bit only after 7 times. But had those other 6 emails not come there, they would not have bit, because that first email is always the introduction. They don't know who you are.
They need to know you exist, right?
Your persistence.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to know you exist. And there's a saying, an open mouth gets fed.
Yeah.
The person who's the loudest gets heard.
Yeah.
By sheer persistence, the fact that you just stayed in their faces, or rather in their mailboxes, their email, you made it kind of a no-brainer. It's like, hey, I can either book this person or she's gonna keep writing to us.
But I think these people, these people don't care. They get so many emails, they don't care. But the funny part I want to tell you about this is that then now some have written back, some and others have. The thing is that you need to get people talking. That's the whole key. Mm-hmm. So you need to get people talking. So, for example, with France, the reason why that happened was because there was a radio programmer who made in France musique or whatever. I'm not good at French. I'm trying to learn now.
France musique.
Yeah, France musique. He really he really liked it, and he did a program on it, and then a photographer that takes photographs at jazz festivals. He really liked it and wrote it to me. And I started a conversation with him, and he seemed really, really like dear and nice. So I just kept on having conversation with him. And then we had a gig in Paris because something with the Danish embassy and their culture program. But we were chosen for that. And before that, someone else had been interested also. So we did a warm-up gig for an artist, in Paris also. So we had been there a little. But just to be frank, the first gig cost me a lot of money. The warm-up gig cost me a lot of money.
Okay.
I paid for that myself. So, to transport a musician and their instrument and, all that. But yeah, we did the exchange program concert, and then I actually came all the way down from Lille, this festival director and 2 photographers that do jazz photography. And so now they have actually gone together with a different festival, and they have booked the 2 festivals there that has booked, which is nice. And I think that's also a coincidence in some kind of way. So it's not only there, you can, there's luck there, but you also need to put in all of the things that can make the synergy. Can you say that happen?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I think writing more than 2,000 emails is not luck. I think doing that kind of, because it does come down to numbers. This is a numbers game.
It is.
If you put in that amount of energy, there's no way you can't turn the tide. I mean, I'm just so amazed by that. And that's why I wanted to talk about it. Yep. So let me ask you about your mindset during that whole process. Like, for example, from the first email that you sent out, until you finally got somebody to take over for you. How long was that process? How many months?
But there are different parts of this again, because there's Denmark. I wrote my book, the agent that I have one agent right now. I have an agent in Denmark, and I'm having meetings with agents from different countries, but we have not, there's not a deal on the table right yet. It looks like there might be one, but it's not settled yet. The one that is settled and that is a really good relationship is my agent in Denmark. And I contacted her back in 2022 before, was that yeah, that was 2022 for her to book my release, tour. And she had said kind of yes, and we were going to have a meeting. And then she had to jump off the ship because her employee found a different work, so she was alone, so she couldn't take in any more artists. And that was such a blow for me. And I knew that I wanted her. So I had to go out and seek for other people. So I had, I wrote with other people that could be interested. No one wanted to jump on the project, so I had to do it myself. And then I got a review in a national newspaper, and the demand went up. So I had, I think, 4 gigs where the contract wasn't signed that I had made. So I called her and I said, I need someone now. Otherwise, I'm going to hire one, like an assistant, to take over this, because I can't deal with this anymore. I'm going to give you these 4 bookings. You can close. And then we'll have a meeting.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's how, and she is a really, really good agent, and I she's really, I'm so glad that the other ones that I were in contact with, that they were too slow, because she jumped on the project before the others
Wait
came
a
along.
minute. Okay, I'm over here like, you can't see me, but I'm like almost screaming inside because you just did a boss move. You had 4 deals on the table and you took them to her. All she had to do was close them.
Yeah.
So you literally just gave her money.
Yeah.
How could she say no?
Yeah.
How did you know to do that? That's like, how did you know this? Did you study business in another life or before singing?
No.
That is so darn smart.
I think I've always had a kind of in some ways, a business mindset. In some ways, and in terms of, I don't know why, Monique.
Listen, don't change anything, because it's definitely working for you. So what I just want to understand is, before the time that you had to book by yourself, before your Danish agent took you on, how long were you doing this grueling process by yourself?
1.5 years.
So just for the people listening, for 1.5 years, Nana was watching Downton Abbey and she was teaching, and she was going through her database, going through multiple databases in different countries, and she's writing every person times 7 for 1.5 years. Now, so anybody that could be jealous, you'd have to ask yourself, are you willing to do that to be at the place that she's at? And so what I'm understanding is, as you began to do things and you start to play the places that that you contacted, then the work compounds, because now you're creating a buzz around your project, because now you're playing here and you're using these clothes, and this magazine is writing about you. And so maybe somebody that you had initially written to, they may have seen that you got an editorial somewhere, or it just compounds. This is so exciting. But what I want to know is, during that 1.5 year period, how did you stay so focused? How did you not get down and give up?
When we released the singles, I did ads also on Facebook, and I put them to places where I believed the music would resonate, depending on the single, where I think that it would resonate with people. And I could see that with the ads that it resonated with people, because there was a lot of my engagement on the post, on the ads. It wasn't posts, it was the ads, was really, really big, and from all different countries. So I could see that this is not, when I put it out to the people that need, like the ones that wants to listen to music and this kind of music, it's not just me that has to believe in this. There's other people engaging with it. So I'm pretty sure that if they are engaging with it, why should they not come and see me live?
Right.
So that's my job, to make them know that they should come.
Here's the thing that to me is really interesting, is that I came to visit you a couple years ago, and we had a discussion about social media. Do you remember that discussion?
Yeah, I think we had a few, but I don't.
Talking about this very first one. We were talking about having to buckle down and just get comfortable with it, because neither one of us was very comfortable with it, and we're just like, I really hate it there, and it just feels so fake, and it doesn't feel like I don't want to be doing. But we knew we kind of had to get involved in it. And look at you now. Now you're like, I swear your posts are just amazing to me. They are just sweet. So amazing to me. I mean, they're so pro, and it's not sweet. It's just me saying what is. I mean, if anybody looks at your Instagram, and I hope they do after this episode, they can see how coordinated and how pro everything looks. It's a very clear direction. I get to understand what I think I know you are as an artist by looking at your posts. It's not all over the place like a lot of people's posts are, myself included. But and that's very nice to see, because I think it's nice to see an example of a regular person and getting to see them on the uprise. You know, you're definitely going places. I know you're playing here at France, one of France's biggest festivals, which is Jazz and Marciac. In August, I think. And if I can be there, I'm definitely going to be there, because I want to see this with my own eyes. But getting to know somebody firsthand and close that's done all this work, and that's gone through all the doubts and things. I just don't know how did you get such mental clarity, to go through all that?
I've asked myself, I talked with my mom because someone else asked me about this. I've always had a very different things. So I've always had a very clear sense in terms of singing. I haven't I'm not the best technical singer or the best whatever, but I've always had a very clear intention when I sing, and I don't know exactly what that connection is, but it's some connection within myself where I feel like I feel a lot of purpose with singing. And I can't, I feel some kind of, So there's that purpose that I feel like comes through in my music as well, which is very strong. So that's, and it feels greater than myself. So it feels maybe a little bit religious in some kind of way, without being tied to any one religion. And then I think something changed for me when I started studying with especially with Greg, but also with I realized, just studying this kind of technique where we did everything a little every day. And I realized, okay, I can actually, because I wasn't a good singer when I started out. I wasn't one of those singers who was, you know what I mean, good from the start. So I realized, okay, I can actually, by doing stuff every day, quite a lot, not a little bit, every day, quite a lot, I can move myself from one place to a lot better, a better place. So I can do that on every part, in every part of my life. There's some places in my life where I still struggle to believe in myself, or to move myself from my belief system, But I have grown also with this process to know that it's actually possible in very many instances to do so.
Wow.
And I think that you have to find one little area where you do that. And then you get an experience of I can change. I didn't think I could learn this and that. And I really want to do this. So I know that I can learn this. Have a confidence in the fact that, for example, with your podcast, I remember when you started it out, you were like, I'm actually pretty good at this. I can do this, and then you started, and now you're getting, you're getting confirmed that you're good at it, if that makes sense, because you're having experiences with it. And then you're thinking, oh, maybe I can upgrade it and do this and this and this. So you also have these positive experiences with it that makes you grow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if
I love what you're saying there, because that means, yeah, it answers the question and it leads to another conversation. I mean, we're going to wrap this up pretty soon, but it leads to the conversation that it's like, you can look at your life and you can look at the areas where you're doing well and use that as a template for the areas where you still need to grow. Rather than just saying, well, I'm bad at this and I'll just always be bad at it. You can apply what you're doing well to everything. And I'll have to be honest, but I kind of took that from one of my favorite TV shows, which is RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh, I need to see that if that's what they're talking about. Yeah.
Well, I mean, personally, I love drag and I love the whole culture, and I am definitely an LGBTQ plus ally. So I'm very supportive of that. But beyond the fashion, the makeup, and some of the stuff that's absurd on there, because it's really hilarious, you get the stories of people, struggling and they're underdogs, you should say, because they're often outcasts in their respective societies. But the point is, you get to see during the entire season, however many candidates, you get to see their path and how they evolve during the show. And one thing he always says, and I say RuPaul, I think he uses different pronouns, so excuse me if anybody gets offended, but RuPaul often says to the candidates, you're really good in this area, this particular area. Let's say it's makeup.
Yeah.
And then you get to the acting challenge and you fall apart. He said, whatever you're doing really well in that makeup area, you need to apply that to this other area that you're struggling in. You're the same person. If you can learn this one thing, you can learn this other thing. Yeah. But that's what you said.
I don't even realize that. Yeah, but when you're saying it, I'm like, yeah.
But that's what you said. And so you can use your success template that you had, starting your own project. Because basically you had this baby project that you got everybody to believe in, and you pulled a whole bunch of people on board, and now everybody's on board. And now you're reaping the benefits of all your hard work and your belief, and I would say your diligence and patience. You are patient. One cannot say that you're not patient, because to do what you did for a year and a half and it just seemed like you're like, well, I'm not taking no for an answer. I will just keep writing to you until you put me in your program, darn it. And I love that because being an artist and dealing with your career, it's a slow burn. It is a marathon. It is not a sprint. And you have to be in it for the long haul.
Yeah, and also I think, because now we're talking about the record, but you know me and you know my process of singing, and you know your own process of singing, right, Monique? It's like you have also put in that patient work, learning how to sing, one thing is learning how to sing, learning how you want to sing. And that's a long journey.
Those are two different things.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think,
and it is a long journey.
And I think also another thing that I'd say is that you said something that I really feel like I am also, because I live in a country where there's a lot of support, cultural support. And I think a lot of that's good, but it also has a hindsight. And I think one of the things that is important, you said something, artists need to know that they are business owners. And I think in this country, because I live in a socialist country where we have pay and I love my I would just wanted to say that I love living where I live, and I love the system. I love the idea and the whole thing, actually. But the thing is that it can sometimes, we don't have the same mindset of being an entrepreneur here as one might have in other countries. Also because we have a very strong security network that can catch us if we fall through in terms of money. And which is good. But I think a lot of artists think that also this doesn't really only apply to Denmark, but also to, that you think that because you are an artist that you need other people to do the stuff, and that's kind of right. But when your business isn't grown enough to be able to afford having those people in your business, then you're not there yet. You cannot how do you call it? You cannot employ some.
Not entitled.
Yeah. You're not entitled, but if you had a business selling tea, for example, and you were selling tea and coffee, and you at a point you have to be there all the hours on your own. You have to pack the tea. You have to, all of that. Then when you earn more money, maybe you can get someone to do the bookkeeping. Then when you earn more money, you can, and I think a lot of artists think that that they should have a manager and a agent in every country at the start and a label and all of that. That it is, as you said,
that way.
Yeah, it is, as you said, that we are small business owners, so we cannot expect people to jump on our projects before there is a project that can finance
they jumped on.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Otherwise, they're just jumping in the air.
Yeah, exactly. So that's and I think a lot of people don't think that.
It's definitely up to us, the artists, to sell our dream and get other people to catch the vision. And it's kind of like this is gonna make you laugh, but you ever see an ugly baby?
Yeah.
Somebody shows you their baby. They're proud of their baby, and they're just like, this is my baby.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I'm glad it's your baby. But they are going to, they're sharing their joy with you, and you can be happy with them, even if you don't quite catch the vision or understand the vision. You can sort of understand the joy of it. And so it is our job to sell our ugly babies.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. And also one other thing is that if you're not willing to invest in your project, why should other people be?
Right. Exactly. So just to close out, I want to know, what is next? What is next for you? Have you already started working on anything else, or do you have any desires in the future?
There's my goal is to get to a place where I get my how do you call it, leisure time? When you have,
say that again?
leisure time, where you have like
leisure. Yeah. It depends on where you're from. If you want to say leisure or leisure, leisure sounds already very, very French.
Okay, but I want to be able to when I get to the evening to get back to be able to read my books and be more social again, not having to work so much. That's right now. That's my goal, and to do that, I need to get other people on board on the project to be able to do that. And then, of course, I am thinking about writing another album, and I've written some songs, but they're not finished completely. And I want, I also need to write more songs if I want to release a full album again. So I'm just working really slowly on that. I am working on creating business like I did with the Danish agent, so that I can get someone to find it interesting and profitable to join in different countries. Yeah. So that's
Nice.
That's the plan. Yeah.
So where can everybody hear your album, Songs for Betty?
Yeah, Music for Betty. On Spotify.
Music. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
no,
Music for Betty.
yeah, but it could be Songs for Betty. Music for Betty. On all streaming channels. It can, and then
All platforms.
yeah, and then in concerts we're going to north of France this year and south of France near you, and then we're going to Bremen in Germany, and we're going to Stockholm.
Wow.
And also what's the last one? Athens. We're going to Athens, to Greece.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this year, and hopefully more places.
Listen, I am so happy for you, and I'm proud of you. And I think the real kicker, and this really closes out the conversation. Songs for Betty. Isn't Betty your inner artist?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Music for Betty, this is music for you.
Yeah.
Which is what you said in the beginning, is completing this project is to satisfy yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Let's close with that, because that's what else can you say about that? Is that while other people get to enjoy this project was by you, for you.
Yeah.
What a wonderful example of what it means to be a creative artist who is also an entrepreneur. I thank you so much, Nana, for coming on the show today. I'm so inspired.
Oh,
really inspired.
I'm glad I can inspire you
and what you will be doing. And I really hope to see you. Oh, thank you. I really hope to see you in Marciac.
Yeah, I did
Take
too.
care, Nana.
Bye.
Oh my goodness. My mind is completely blown. I mean, I knew that Nana was a hard worker. I really knew this, and that she's very focused, but I had no idea the lengths to which she went to get herself booked everywhere and to get herself a team of people that, have caught her vision. So here's a few key takeaways. If you take nothing else from this episode, I want you to take away the fact that sheer persistence in your efforts is what's going to make the difference. I mean, she sent thousands of emails, and many to the same people, before anybody even wrote back to her. And she just kept on about it. She was very, very unbothered by it. The second thing is, create for yourself. Create for your own fulfillment. You're not creating to make somebody like you or whatever. You're creating to fulfill your own human desires. And I think that's important, because I think that's how you can create something that's completely authentic to who you are. And what people want to see is who you really are. The last thing I would say that I took away from this episode is that Nana has a team of people. Because she was able to sell herself and believe in her project, she was able to attract, and I do say attract, a team of the right people to help her do what she's trying to do. As artists, we tend to do everything alone, and it's for many reasons. Maybe we're afraid, maybe we don't know, maybe we don't have the money. But I think if you continue to do what you're doing, even through those rough times, you tend to attract the right people to your side to help you along. Oh, there's one last thing. You notice how she said that the money she earned, she put it right back into her business. So it's kind of a self-sustaining thing. So she didn't go out and, buy the latest whatever that's not important. She put that back into her business so that her business could continue to thrive and, of course, earn more money. Well, all right. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Listen, if you don't have a habit of doing this, I want you to take a look at the episode notes, because there's always little goodies in there. Sometimes the guests give free gifts. You can also especially check out the guests' websites and social media links so you can get an idea of who these people are on a deeper level. So go ahead and do that. And you can also sign up to get notifications when the next episode comes out. Thank you so much for listening to this, and I hope this helps you along your artist journey. Musically, Monique.